My dad immigrated from Sicily to Germany, then Germany to the United States. And as a young boy, he told me the struggles growing up in Bagheria. His mom died at an early age, and his father raised him and his siblings. And I'll never forget growing up how he often reminded my sisters and I that he was poor and he had to work hard to provide for himself. I remember him telling me that he went to the church, the San Antonino church, knocking on the door asking for bread for the priests and the nuns who worked at that church. And he had to work hard, and he had a lot of learning experiences growing up. His dad was also disabled, so he did a lot of learning on his own. And I recall him telling me the stories of him wandering the streets at time, of going to boarding care school for boys in Aspera. And he taught my sisters and I the importance of not giving up, of working hard, of turning his struggles into successes. I've been to Bagheria a total of 4 times, and my first trip to Bagheria was when my nono Giuseppe was very sick, and my sister Michelle and I went with my mom and dad to Bagheria. That was in 1979, and I was 5 years old. And I just remember when we first landed in the airport in Palermo, we're just getting mobbed by his siblings, his brothers and sisters, and my cousins, and everybody was crying. They're just overwhelmed with joy to see my dad, because my dad left his family when he married my mom and immigrated here to the United States. And it was a big challenge for him, because he left his family for just a better opportunity. And which just to today I give him credit for doing that. So my first trip there was, again, I was only 5. I just remember as a kid I would see during the summer I would see there was tomatoes, or strata I believe it was called, right? Yeah. A strata that was just out in the summer, and they were out on huge tables in the middle of the sun. So I remember asking my dad, what's that red stuff on the table? So that would be the tomato paste that we would use now. When I graduated high school, that was in 1992, my sister Michelle and I went back, and I was 17 years old, and it was my cousin Giuseppe. I just remember going, he would just take me around town in his Vespa, and a lot of near misses, close accidents as well. We had a great time. Just to be there with my family, my aunts and uncles at 17. Again, just realized the importance of family, even so far away. It's tough to have family so far away, especially we still remain very close via the telephone, and I've had my cousins come visit us in America. Then I had an opportunity to return in 2004 when my cousin Daniela got married. And it was my wife and my son Matteo. We took with my parents in 2004 to celebrate my cousin's wedding, and I returned again the following year in 2005.
Like a change.
And yeah, from my first time, since I was in 1992, when I returned in 2005, I got a complete change in the economic development of Bagheria. It pretty much grew tremendously. I also want to go back to my first trip to Bagheria. I remember the Carretto Siciliano when it was the Festa di San Giuseppe, where my dad's friend hoisted me onto the Carretto Siciliano during the parade, during the procession and the Festa di San Giuseppe. And when I returned years later, I always found myself trying to find a Carretto Siciliano that I can take a picture, and it was when in 2005 when I returned with my son Mateo, that I took a photo with my son Mateo in the Carretto Siciliano, which was something I'll never forget because it brought back a lot of memories.
Right.
And today I get emotional about that. And then again, I returned in 2006 with my wife and Mateo, my son, to visit family. And Bagheria holds a special place in my heart because my family's there. All of my dad's side's there. His sister, his brothers, and all of my cousins still reside in Bagheria. After hearing the stories over the several years, I asked my dad to take me on a walk, a tour of Bagheria, and he pinpointed out some historic sites, the Palogania, the Chiesa Madre, and also the places that he worked as a young man, the different bakeries as well. And obviously it has changed since he's been there, and he made mention that there's a lot more traffic in Bagheria, and there's just a lot more movement of people, either foot traffic, vehicular traffic, and has also noticed that a lot of the bakeries are no longer there that he once worked. My favorite Sicilian dishes by far are as follows. I love pasta fagioli. I love spingiuni. It's a thick Italian pizza, deep dish pizza, right, Pops? With anchovies. I'll take the anchovies. And of course, I have a sweet tooth, so the desserts, I love cannolis, I love the cornettis. I remember my cousin Giuseppe in the morning when I visited him, he'd go down the street to pick up these cornettis and these Ines, right?
Iris, yeah.
Oh man, it's just great. This Sicilian Danishes, which I still love. And the cornettis are really good, right?
Cornetti, yeah, cornetti.
And what else? Pizzelle. Oh yeah, can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
In fact, I remember as a kid, even the Sicilian bread or the bread in Bagheria was fantastic. I don't know, maybe it was a farina that just makes the farina makes a difference, right?
Yeah, 00.
I remember sleeping and waking up in the morning, and then there were just these vendors, these street vendors calling, "Pane, pane," to wake me up. And there in Bagheria, there's palazzis, they're multi-level buildings, right?
Yeah.
So my zia Geda, she would have a basket with a string, and she would just
bring it down.
She would roll down the basket. She put the money in the basket, and then they just do the exchange there of the bread with the money, right?
Right.
And also pani and panelli are my favorite. You can't go wrong.
It's like
right?
a breakfast.
That is excellent. I put a little lemon on it.
Right.
Really good stuff. So obviously, when it comes to Sicilian or Italian food, we by far we're the best when it comes to that.
Smells.
Oh, gabonadina. The gabonadina is great
It's got
too.
eggplant,
Eggplant sauce, capers.
Capers.
You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
The cheese is great in Bagheria. I remember when last time I was there, 2005, we walked down the street and this guy was making his own cheese in his kitchen.
Well, ricotta cheese.
The ricotta, yeah.
Yeah, the ricotta.
So we got it good. Italians, we are known for our art, our culture, our food, and family, which is great. And that's why I just go back to the reason why I'm here sitting in this chair is because of my parents, because of my family. And my mom and dad instilled in me the Italian values of faith, of family, of community, of giving back and doing good for others. And that's what brought me to this position as a council member. Right, Dad?
Well,
I'm also involved in various Italian American organizations in Los Angeles and San Pedro. I'm involved in the Italian American Club, the Trapito Club. I know my wife, my mother and father-in-law are from Teresini. My mom is from Trapito. So we hear their stories of struggle, of having to work hard to put food on the table. Even today in Sicily, it's the same issue. I have seen Tornatore's movie on Bagheria. I believe it's called Bagheria, right? And we had 2 years ago, 2010, in San Pedro, we have the Los Angeles International Film Festival. And when I heard Bagheria was out, I made every effort to bring that film to San Pedro San Pedro, California is home to almost 40,000 Italian Americans, a lot of Sicilians, a lot of Napolitani, and it was important for me to bring that film to San Pedro at the historic Warner Grand Theater. And sure enough, we highlighted the film Bagheria in San Pedro during the Los Angeles International Film Festival. And to see the film at the Warner Grand and sitting next to my dad, it brought a lot of fond memories, and also not so fond memories as well, growing up in Bagheria. So even during the film, he was telling me, this is where I grew up, this is where I played ball, this is where, you know, yeah, the Strumoli. All right, let's remember that. The Strumoli, it's called? Strumoli. And this is where I went to church, and I was able to see that because I've been to Bagheria a number of times, and it was really neat to have that film in San Pedro highlighted at the Los Angeles International Film Festival, and it was a great turnout from the Italian Americans that live in the Los Angeles area. Because of today's technology, I've never felt closer to my family. We have an opportunity to communicate with my cousins in Bagheria via Facebook, via telephone as well. In fact, I just got an email from my cousin Liliana here at the office, and they keep me abreast on what's going on in Bagheria. Even more so, my cousin Giuseppe is expecting a baby. So and we got a call from Zio Galogero that the people at the Bagheria City Hall, where they came to him and asked, who is this Joe Buscaino in Los Angeles? So that phone call came to my dad. So we're always communicating. You know, for me, it shouldn't take a holiday to communicate with my cousins, but again, via Facebook and the internet, we have an opportunity to do so. Now, on the political issues, the social issues that's affecting Bagheria, you know, we have RAI communication, we have RAI television at home. Every opportunity that we can, you know, we say in Sicilian, siamo troppo lontani, però siamo vicino in cuore. We're close at heart. Now, the Sicilian dialect, I understand in Italy has kind of phased out, especially in Sicily, it's kind of phased out. But having a 91-year-old nonna, I still speak Sicilian to her. And I took Italian courses in high school. And even today, when I speak to my cousins in Italy, we speak Italian. But it's important to you know, again, hang on to our heritage and hang on to our culture, hang on to our Sicilian culture by not losing sight of that.
Okay.
So when we speak, I speak to my nonna. Sometimes I speak to my parents in Sicilian.
So Milan ne vinciu Romina Garia. Che te ne pare a te o Milan ne vinciu?
Who vinciu?
O Milan, o pallone.
Oh, Milan.
Milan,
oh,
yeah.
Balloni.
Yeah.
Balloni.
Giocava o pallone e vinciu o Milan. I think fu Napoli fu
Quando era televisione?
la televisione Domenica mattina e no, giocavo pallone e o Milan ne vinceva. Capisci?
Capisco.
Sì.
Dicillo quando tu giocasti palloni.
Io giocavo pallone a Germania quando io avevo 18 anni, no? Giocavo montato in nuoto così, una fattoria contro fattoria. So, una partita la vincevo, ma giocavo stesso.
E sta nato giocasti palloni tu?
Sei nato io a bere Daci che...
E tu puoi giocare ancora?
Sì, posso giocare.
Puoi giocare? Tu puoi giocare?
Posso correre, non posso giocare. Non posso giocare, ma posso correre.
So that's a little Sicilian. Again, it's important for us to keep that alive in the family. You know, I get calls from a nonna. Joe, ma che fai? Manco una chiamata, perché manco mi chiami?
Perché tua nonna ti vuole bene.
I know. But my nonna 90 anni,
91 anni aveva. Sta facendo 92 anni ora na agosto.
Yeah. Sembra prega per me, no?
Sì, la prega, come prega.
Right.
Quando fa pane, poi ci sta Gio.
Oh, and we just had Easter, so we had
Bugagulova.
Bugagulova, which is you know, the egg, and you bake the egg in the big cookie. So we had my mom with my kids and my wife at home. we were making buga gulovo. So then, see, those are the type of things that
It's
it's
a
important.
tradition.
Yeah, these traditions. It's
It's
important for us to
Right.
carry on and also, teach my kids so that they have their when they have kids and their kids can
Right.
teach their kids how to make it. Also, fruta maturana, Is that shish-
Bagheria,
yeah, even-
bandiera.
Yeah, bibasqua. My sister made these little lambs,
Yes.
and it's important for us to carry on these traditions to our kids.